Hiram here. In this video I want to try to kill two birds with one stone. Oops, no pun intended. Flying penguin asked me if I could change the angle of my camera instead of shooting in from the side to shoot it down from the top so that my ham hocks don't get in the way. Also, I've gotten a lot of requests, I was surprised, to show what's inside one of my fire kits and what's inside my fire making bag of tricks. There's lots of videos out on these things, so I really didn't think this is something anybody would want to see. I know I'm going to get flack for this. Oops, there's my hair. But in my mind, being able to start a fire is one of the most important survival things that a person can do. If you look at that rules of threes, now 3 minutes without air doesn't apply to camping usually, but 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. For some of us, maybe more than 3 weeks. The 3 hours without shelter means a number of things. Your clothes that you have on would be your shelter. It also means starting a fire for the heat and stuff. If anybody's ever seen that movie, what is it, Seraphim Falls, where the main character has to jump into freezing water, and then when he comes back out, his fur coat and everything's all sopping wet, and he has to start a fire using cartridge shells. Same thing. You have to have something to be able to start a fire almost anywhere. This is something that I make up. I throw these in my car, in my pack. I just put one in my pants pocket if I need it. Get these little red boxes. Now this thing with what's in it weighs 126.3 grams or 4.5 ounces. Not exactly a gram weenie item. Can't talk today. But everybody knows that I'm not a gram weenie. I know a gram weenie would probably go out in the woods with a paper matches and make each match light 2 fires. But I use something like this, make these up for friends. Has Ranger bands on the outside to hold it together. These are good for starting fire. It's just a soap kit, you know, what you would put your bar of soap in. I like the kind that come apart in 2 halves. I use red to signify fire. I use white for first aid. I use blue for water. And in it, I have a pack of the cotton pads, a couple of used cubes of Espit. When I use these, and I don't use them completely, I just put them in a little bag and save them for use. Here's a little packet of Vaseline. This can be, you know, I talked about this in my other video. This can be used for a number of things. Medically, keeping your tools from rusting, keeping pine sap from sticking to your axe or your saw. But then if you need it as for fire, you just smear it on the cotton pads and go to town. Little pack of matches. These are strike anywhere matches, wrapped up in cellophane, so it should be fairly watertight. I have a knife. This is used as a striker for the fire steel. Now this is just a basic little fire steel with a piece of plastic on the end for a handle. The knife is used for starting sparks, and it can be used for making yourself some tinder, just a little knife. A couple of birch bark strips. Now, I'm a firm believer that one match, one fire. But as you know, a match doesn't last that long. So if you're in a difficult situation, a piece of birch bark, a candle, little birthday candle, you light this, and then you have much more time for starting your fire. So I have candles in here, little birthday candles. I have some fire wicks. Probably saw these like a year or so ago. It's just a cotton string, twine, whatever, soaked in wax. And this makes a nice little fire starter. You take your match, light this, and then you got quite a bit of time to get a fire started. Of course, a little cheap lighter, full. Another strip. And a piece of aluminum foil. This is good. You can boil your water in it. If the ground is all wet, you can unfold this out and make yourself a nice little waterproof area for starting a fire. Like I said, you could use this for boiling water. Put that in there. So that's pretty much the fire kit. Now it changes from time to time depending on what's going on. Oh, the Ranger bands, I also said you can light these. The black rubber burns. Give you smoke at night if you have a problem with mosquitoes. But this is a serious fire kit. Now the thing is, like I said, I think fire is the most important survival thing because of so many uses you have with fire. You need fire to keep warm in the winter. Say you fell in water, your clothes are all wet. You need to start a fire as soon as you can to get dried out. Water, you need fire to boil water so you have something to drink, or melt snow so you have something to drink. Fire is used as a signal to be rescued, either the fire or the smoke that you produce from it. Fire for light at night so that you can see what you're doing, plus keep wild animals away. So fire is really important. Now that was my fire kit. This is what I call my bag of tricks. This is just something I take with me when I'm out with other people, Boy Scouts, friends, whatever. These are all different ways that I have of starting fire. This is not something that I carry with me just on a normal trip for myself. For that, I use a blast match. That's my favorite fire starting tool. You've seen those before. But this is pretty much just what I call a bag of tricks to start fires. Cigarette lighter. I have a wire wrap on it to keep the start button from being depressed, letting out the gas. Strike-on box matches with the box side for starting them up. That's a watertight little container. Here's some fat wood candles, sticks. Smells nice. You can light that. I've done them up to a point so that they light easy, and then these become little candles for starting a fire. In a watertight, airtight pouch with a couple of Ranger bands on there for starting fires. A box of waterproof matches in a watertight little bag. Here's a little fire steel that I make. I just buy the rods and then make the holders for them just like that. Nice cheap little things that I can stick everywhere. Here's the Doan's fire starter, the magnesium strip with the striker. Usually it helps to take the hacksaw part off so that you have more playroom. The hacksaw is also can be used for cutting some small wood. Let's see what else. Here's a container. Got to get used to being in the middle here. Container of birch bark strips used for starting fires, and a little medicine bottle with some more Ranger bands on it. They always come in handy. A little container of candles, small birthday candles, great for starting fires. A tube of Coghlan tablets, the fire tablets. These can be used for cooking on, or for starting a fire, or just even for getting warm in the cold. a packet. You saw this before. This is my packet where I've taken, I think it's 8 of those pads and vacuum sealed them in a bag where it takes up very little room. This is something I need to put back in the other kit. These are char cloth used for starting fires, either with your, with the strips like this, or they can be used in a windy situation. If it's real windy, if you strike your match, it'll blow right out. If you wrap it with this, the wind just kind of keeps it going. Interesting stuff. Little pencil sharpener. Use this for making tinder. You get yourself a twig, just put it in there, sharpen the twig, and you end up with a little pouch of like Maya dust that you can use for starting a fire. I keep losing these. Kids keep taking this on me. They think that's neat. Here's a little bottle of petroleum jelly used with the pads or with the saws from cutting wood. These are some Tinder Quicks. Got to get in the center of this. Tinder Quicks. Now this came with a spark light. That was a little one-handed sparker. Looks like a cigarette lighter, but without the alcohol and stuff in it. Somebody borrowed it and I never got it back. I have to get myself another one. But these are some of the Tinder Quicks that were left over from it. It's pretty much cotton that's impregnated with wax. Keep those handy. This is a cool toy that people seem to like. It's a solar cigarette lighter. You can put some tinder in here, you aim it at the sun, and it magnifies it right to a point, and it'll start it on fire. Of course, it has to be sunny days, but works pretty cool. Had this thing for like 15 years. Little piece of aluminum foil again to lay down on wet ground if you needed to. Here's a small magnifying glass for starting fires from solar fires using the sun. Like I said, this is pretty much just a bag of tricks to entertain people and show different ways of starting fires. A little permanent match. Probably seen these. You put lighter fluid inside and you can use it to strike and start. It makes a permanent match. Little Maya dust in a bag. You can see I need to refill that one. A small Coghlan saw for cutting wood, little stuff. Nice little saw, does the job. You got to remember, it cuts on the pull, not on the push, or you'll crumple this thing right up. But if you remember that, cut on the pull, it works pretty good for a little saw. Cheap little thing. And it fits in the pouch real nice. I also have one of the survival saws in here. This comes in handy. This one's made so that the rings detach so that the package will lay flat. Some more Esbit cubes, the half-used Esbit. As long as you keep them in here and keep them dry. These are usable for starting your fire or cooking on. This is a insert tool. It's for machining, but I use it on, this is a magnesium strip. I use this on the strips for shaving the magnesium. Oh, can you see that? A couple of little strips. Makes it easier to shave this than using my knife. This will also work on the dome. See, make it for nice like that. Plus, it can be used as a striker. And last but not least, isn't what I consider a real fire starter. It's more FM, more magic than fire. It's the potassium permanganate and glycerin. Now you've probably seen these on a lot of videos and stuff. You pour the potassium permanganate out and then put some glycerin in it, and voila, it starts a fire. I got it because this was supposed to be a water purifier, but it made the water kind of funky and stuff. It's hard to figure out how much to use. And the glycerin, I haven't found another use for that camping, so I just take this for show and tell. Now this pouch is just a pocket off of an old pair of camo pants. Pants were all ratty, but I cut the pocket out and put that in there. I probably need to make a larger one. So that's my little bag of tricks. Everything in there is really useful except for this stuff. The petroleum jelly, the pads, the cigarette lighter, the candles, the fat wood, all good stuff. You know, any individual thing you could take with you. So that's my bag of tricks and my fire kit. I thank you for watching my video. Let me know what you think of this angle. I look forward to your input, your questions, remarks, helpful suggestions, and as always, watch for my buddy Max. Bye now.
Know you've been a good friend, and that's in the thick and thin.